Hey, sweet friends. I am telling you today about my top 5 things that I love the most about Montessori at home. Come on in. I can't wait to talk to you today. I am Aubrey Hargis. I am a Montessorian and a mom of 2 children. My 2 children are probably older than yours. Most people who follow my account have younger children. I have raised mine Montessori all the way from the very, very beginning. And so they are 10 and 13 years old right now. They're upstairs playing with dad while I get in some Instagram time right here. And I teach Montessori online as well to parents all over the world. I love what I do. And I just wanted to pop on here and talk to you about what I heart the most about Montessori at home. So if you are in here live with me, I want you to share that in the comments too. Tell me what you love about Montessori so that we can inspire each other today on this beautiful day of hearts. Okay, are we ready? My top 5 things that I absolutely love the very, very, very most about Montessori at home. Number 5, and I've taken some notes right here for myself before talking to you. So, number 5 is the materials. Why the materials? Because they are beautiful, because they help the child learn from themselves. And I'll show you a couple examples. Here is a beautiful red and blue rod. Now, children learn a ton of things, just this one Montessori material. What I love about this Montessori material is how it is so interestingly painted different colors so that the child can very clearly, when counting, tell the difference between one and one and one and one. And we say one because this is one-to-one correspondence, which is something I talk about in my course, Homeschool the Redwoods. Those of you who are in that course or have taken it, you already know that we talk a lot about the beginning of counting with math. But you also can count 1, 2, 3, 4. These nice big spaces allow the little child's small hand to count. So Montessori materials are created to appeal to the child's developmental stages, and they are also, they're created to be beautiful as well, but mostly they are to isolate a particular skill. And by the way that the material is designed, it is intuitive to the child. And this means, we'll talk about lessons in a minute, but this means that you really don't have to be fussy about the lessons because it's the materials. When you're using Montessori materials, it's the materials that are actually doing the work. Okay. It's not all about you. In Montessori, the modeling, what we model, how we model with the materials is important. When we exaggerate our movements, when we show the child how we are holding this so beautifully and so carefully and lovingly, and when we draw our own attention to the material and we intentionally touch the material, we're demonstrating to the child. And yes, that is important. But ultimately, it is an experience that the child is having with something that's in their environment. Okay, so the materials are wonderful. The little pink tower cube I also brought down for you. What's so special about this is, for one, it is so tiny. Sometimes Montessori materials vary in size to draw the child's interest to the size of the material. So when a child sees this teeny tiny little pink cube, and you're going to be showing them how to very, very carefully hold this teeny tiny little thing in your fingers or on the palm of your hand, it is just draws the child's interest in, the shape draws it in. Because the pink tower is all colored pink all the way up and down, it isolates the quality of the size so that your child doesn't have to be distracted by a bunch of letters or numbers all over it like you often see in a lot of non-Montessori materials. Like, for example, a set of nesting blocks, as beautiful and wonderful as they can be, they don't isolate the same kind of quality general unless they're made of the same, they're colored the exact same or made of similar material, the same material. But the pink tower is. And so what I love about this Montessori material is that it really isolates the quality of size and the shape of the cubes as well. So they are special Montessori materials. And the last one I wanted to show you is that how in Montessori, Maria Montessori helped to design a way for children to learn vocabulary, lots and lots and lots of vocabulary in a way that felt intuitive to them and not like they're being made to memorize a bunch of facts. Okay. So there's nothing that is distinctly drilling about learning this vocabulary for children in Montessori. She designed these little parts cards. And so this is an example of one. This is one that we made in constellation for our members. So it is the parts of the redwood tree, and this is the whole redwood tree. And so in Montessori, we often have the child match a picture to a picture and a word. So it'd be another word to a word. And so the other half of this that I would not bring down is there would be a whole card that just is just like this. And then there would be a set where they are separated so the child can match them. And so the materials, number 5, I love them, love them, love them. Number 4, looking at my notes here, is the lessons. I already talked a little bit about this. The Montessori lessons are special. I love them because what we know from even modern current research about children is that children learn primarily from interacting in their environment, but also primarily from watching what we do. And that is why you see children, whenever we do something that we are doing with intention, or maybe we do slowly, we don't even realize that it's in front of them. Our children may copy it afterwards. They might imitate us, right? So the lessons are designed to capitalize on that child's natural predisposition to want to watch us and follow us and model themselves after our actions and after our personalities as well. So in Montessori, the lessons are important, not because we need to memorize a very strict procedure of first this, then this, then this. Parents ask me all the time in my courses, how exactly do I give the presentation on the red rods? But how exactly do I give the presentation on the pink tower? And I always tell them, and I will tell you, it is not about the steps. Okay. Yes, Montessori guides who take their Montessori training, they often are required to memorize a full set of steps for presentations. But that is part of the learning process for them as teachers because they're going to be giving these lessons to many children, hopefully for years and years in the classroom. Now, as parents, as homeschoolers, as Montessorians who are using Montessori techniques at home, it's actually the techniques themselves that's the important part of the lesson. And one of those techniques would be to use very slow and exaggerated movements with your hands. We don't want to rush things for children. We want them to focus in on what our hands are doing so that then they can concentrate on making their little hands do the same kind of thing. And so when you are demonstrating with any material, rather than fussing about with the procedure of it, think about what should my hands be doing? We also, in our lessons, we don't talk a lot. We want the child to focus in on the hands, right? And so Montessori lessons are so special in that way. Number 3 for me is grace and courtesy. And if you are joining me here live, feel free to pop anytime in the comments. Tell me what you love about Montessori too, because at the end of this, after I've told you my 5, then I will read them back to you guys. So number 5 for me is grace and courtesy. This is part of the practical life curriculum. And in Montessori, Maria brilliantly discovered that polite behavior and learning manners and learning social graces should actually be part of the child's curriculum, especially in the primary years. I mean, all the way up, we want children to learn how to interact in a community. But especially in the primary years, children are very sensitive to the way people are interacting with each other, body language, communicating verbally. And so we give our children these grace and courtesy lessons so that they will know what to do when they go out in society and they are communicating with other people. We want them to learn, especially the social conventions of our own culture. And this is going to vary. There is no specific set of, of practical life grace and courtesy lessons that Maria Montessori felt like all children should know. Okay. There's no, every child should know these specific things. It's always more about the child is interacting in their own culture and they are communicating with the people in their culture. And what is it that your child actually needs to know in order to be successful with that? So, if it is opening a door for an elderly person, we need to teach our children how to do that. And we would practice it first before it actually happens in real life. If one of the social graces of your culture is being quiet in a library, okay, that is something that you're going to want to give a lesson about. Tell your child beforehand. So, Montessori doesn't just prepare children for learning their fine motor skills, it prepares them for all of life so that by the time they are older and they grow up, they will have been explicitly and directly taught all of these things. Number two, peace education. Peace education is probably the most overlooked and probably the most real and deep part of the Montessori method. Maria Montessori herself, did you know she was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize 3 times? So incredible. Her work was for our community and for our world, that Montessorians all over still hold this near and dear to their heart. The fact that she pushed so hard, especially towards the end of her life. At the beginning of her life, she was very much centered on the child's experiences, and very much acting like a scientist studying the child. And later in life, especially, after World War II changed her life personally so intensely. She lived through both world wars. And after World War II, she just felt this pressing need that her work was not just about the child. It far extended beyond that. And that is why peace education is such an important part of what we do. And there is no only one curriculum for peace education inside the Montessori subjects that we study. In fact, peace education is woven throughout all of the Montessori subject areas. So we often we lump it with curricula, with the concept of learning about cultures, right? So that's an easy way to integrate it in. But really, peace education is something that we are studying with children throughout life. We are emphasizing with children how to become a better human, how to care about one's community. And we start, of course, with the micro level of learning about the self, learning how to care for the self and others in the environment, in their small environment. And then through the years, we broaden and broaden and broaden and broaden it until the children really are aware of the entire universe and their place in it and their purpose in it. And number one, drum roll, number one reason that I love Montessori at home is the child. We follow the child. The child is the center of this experience in Montessori. And Montessori is for life. And that means that all of us have an inner child inside that we need to be tapping into. And one way to do that would be to observe your own child and then to remember what it was like to be a child yourself, to remember the love that you had for things. So many of us get lost in the day to day stress of our own work, in our careers, in our ideas of what our purpose is. I know a lot of moms who choose to stay at home for the first time and leave a career often have feelings of abandonment and a loss of purpose in self. And this is a time for us to do some reclaiming of that. When we are observing our child, we're not just nurturing our child, we're also nurturing ourselves. And that means our inner child as well. So the child is the heart and the focus of the whole method. If the child is not joyful, that means our child too, our inner child isn't also joyful and celebrating life and loving and being peaceful and striving to grow and learn and become a better human, there is no Montessori. And that is where I'm going to leave you with my 5 things today. I'm going to scroll back in the comments. And now, too, if you just joined, tell me what you love about Montessori, because I'm just going to read these comments out loud so that we can share some of the love. Hearts, all abounding today. Okay, I'm scrolling back up. Hopefully, I can read all of your comments. Okay, so, okay. Little Apple Star loves watching her kiddos feeling empowered when doing things themselves. Good one. 1000 Days says, I agree. Materials are amazing and it's getting easier to find good quality materials. It is. And I also add that even if you cannot afford the actual Montessori materials, any object can be a quote Montessori material. It's all in how you do it. You can literally take these post-it notes and take a bunch of rocks and make it into a Montessori material. It's all about the design. It's not about who made the material, or whether it's perfect or not. Mama in the Rain says, getting to see the natural experimentation and discovery of my son. Make It Montessori says, I love how the child is a natural self learner, and both the method and the materials help facilitate that. They do. See, scrolling down. All right, I think that's it for today. Oh, my friends, I hope you have a beautiful heart centered day. And whether you celebrate Valentine's Day or not, today happens to be the day that I had on my schedule to go live. But I hope that you can spread yourself a little love today, too, a little bit of extra warmth your own way, and a little bit of extra admiration for your child. All right, I'll see you soon in the next live. Talk to you later. Mwah. Have a great day.